What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and for those of you that know me, you know that I love buying real estate and holding on to it forever. However, today, this video is going to be a little bit interesting because I bought this Fourplex, held on to it for 3 months, and sold it for zero profit. As a matter of fact, I probably lost money just a little bit in the deal. And so I'm going to explain why I did this and why it made sense for me. And I know a lot of you are saying, oh, financial woes, coronavirus, what is it, Chandler? Why are you doing it? There's actually a very good reason behind it that made sense, and now it doesn't. And I'm hoping this video will help you to make educated decisions when it comes to purchasing real estate during these crazy times. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Chandler Smith, and I've been investing in real estate for the last 6+ years. As a matter of fact, about a month or so ago, actually it's been about 2 months, I purchased a 32-plex that put me over 100 doors of rental real estate. However, right before I bought that 32-plex, I bought this Fourplex. Now, you might have watched my other video where we did the full inspection. First, we're actually going to do an exterior inspection. We ran the numbers. If you haven't, you're more than welcome to check out the link above and see how we decided to purchase this property, how we ran the numbers, how we did the inspection, all of that good stuff. However, I'm sure a lot of you are saying, well, Chandler, why would you sell that? It's devastating because I worked so hard to get over 100 doors of rental real estate, and by selling this Fourplex after purchasing my 32-plex, that dropped me down to only 99 doors of rental real estate. So that 100 doors benchmark was a big deal for me, and it breaks my heart to see it go. Though I can promise you it will only be gone for a small moment because I'm going to be buying a lot more real estate here in the future. But let me explain what happened. So I ended up purchasing this property in a college town, and I was in love with it. It was super clean, nice units. I believe that I could raise rents, get somewhere between a 10 and 12% cash on cash return on it, and I was stoked about it. Loved the property, loved everything about it. Looking back on it, I still to this day do not regret purchasing it. But here's what happened. At that time, I was planning on purchasing a 22-plex and a 9-plex. Now, as some of you know, the 9-plex fell through, but I haven't really talked about the 22-plex. While I was thinking of purchasing both of these, the 32-plex came up, and I jumped all over that shiz. So right after I closed on this Fourplex, that's when I jumped in with both feet on the 32-plex, plowed through the loan, got it closed, and went through that whole process, and that literally has been my favorite purchase of all time. It was absolutely incredible. However, during that time, I also had a 9-plex and a 22-plex under contract. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, Chandler, how did you come up with the money to do all of these deals? Well, that was part of the problem. Is during the time, I was like, man, I got the 22-plex under contract, I got the 9-plex under contract, now I just landed this 32-plex, so I'm moving money around trying to find out how to make it happen. And in my gut, it just wasn't feeling quite right. So if you watch the other video, you'll see that I decided to bail on the 9-plex just barely, but there's a lot more to that story. What happened is I got the 32-plex under contract, and once it looked like the 22-plex was still going to go through, I said, you know what? 22-plex is going through. I've got this 9-plex under contract. I think I'm going to bail on the 9-plex just to give me a little bit of breathing room. I don't want to eat in to those reserves because I want to play it safe. I promised that I would keep good reserves, and so I'm just going to keep that money aside in case something bad happens, even though, heck, market's doing great. Nothing bad will happen, but I'm sure that I'll be okay. Lo and behold, I made the right decision bailing on that 9-plex. However, had I bought the 22-plex, I still would have been a little tight. I would have been comfortable because I held to my reserve rules of 6 months, but I would have been nervous going into this whole coronavirus thing. But with the 22-plex, it was still under construction. So now I've got the 22-plex under contract and the 32-plex under contract. Well, the person building the 22-plex did get into some financial trouble, and they got to the point where they had to put a halt to the 22-plex. Now, would I buy that in the future from them? Potentially. Have I kept a good relationship? Yes. But did it break my heart that that deal fell through? it broke my heart so much that I was going to name that one after my son and the new 32-plex after my daughter. So I got a new LLC, named that one after my daughter even though she was born second. And now my son doesn't have an LLC named after him. Well, actually he does, it just doesn't own any property yet. So for me, it was terrible to lose the 22-plex, but looking back, it ended up being an awesome thing because now I really believe that the market is shifting. So with the 22-plex falling through, I've got an even bigger stockpile of reserves than I would have ever needed for dealing with this coronavirus. And that for me is going to be fun money for finding some killer deals coming into this upcoming year. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, Chandler, you bailed on the 9-plex, but then you did a video about bailing on the 9-plex and tying it into Corona. Well, here's the deal. Once the 22-plex fell through, I knew that wasn't going to happen. Coronavirus hadn't hit. I still have a great amount of money set aside that I'm planning on using to buy real estate. So I was like, well, what the heck? Let's go buy the 9-plex. So I went full bore into the 9-plex. And at that point, I'd already done the inspection. I'd already put them through the ringer. So to get them back on the hook and get them to lower the price, I said, look, no inspection, no time period, no nothing. If I don't close on it, you keep my earnest money. Now, luckily for me, I put down a very small amount of earnest money. So it only cost me $3,000. However, I decided to jump back into the 9-plex. 2-3 weeks later, I get totally smashed with the news of the coronavirus. And I could have still gone through with the 9-plex, but for me, I just had this feeling in my gut again that there were going to be good deals. So I gave up my earnest money. If you want to see more about that video and how that happened, you can click this link above. But that is how this whole process came to be. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, Chandler, what happened to the Fourplex? You didn't even talk about the Fourplex. Well, during all of that, when I had the 9-plex, the 22-plex, and the 32-plex under contract, and everything was going smooth, I wanted to free up money so I could keep my reserves. And with the Fourplex, I didn't want to sell it. As a matter of fact, I was in a place where I was like, you know what? I'll probably just hold on to it, and I can move some money around and find another way to pull off these deals. I was able to pull out a line of credit. I was able to keep my reserves. I was able to do what was required to be able to hold on to the 9-plex, the 22-plex, and the 32-plex. And so I was in a good place. However, I felt that if I could sell the Fourplex, it would make me more comfortable, but I wasn't looking to sell it. But what happened is I was talking with one of my sales reps, one of my favorite sales reps. He's a total stud. His name's Ryan Myers. And I was saying, yeah, like I've got all of these incredible deals right now, but I don't know that I want to overextend myself quite that much. I want to make sure I keep good reserves and still am making smart decisions through this. And again, this was before coronavirus hit. And he goes, well, Chandler, I love that Fourplex. And for you, I know you bought it here, but I'd be willing to buy it here so that you just break even on it. Now, I don't want to pay more than that because then I don't think it would make sense. But if you want to just break even and pull your money out so that you can put it somewhere else, I would totally be willing to do that, and it would mean the world to me. Because with Ryan did his second summer with me. He just got 2 years of sales under his belt, and he'd already bought a single family home, but the market was so competitive, every time he was putting in offers on fourplexes, no one would pick him because he was trying to live in the fourplex so he could get 3.5% down. So all of these fourplexes he'd put in offers for, he couldn't get them locked under contract because even if he was coming in higher, people were picking those that weren't going through an FHA loan. And so I said, well, heck, maybe this will work out. I can help one of my favorite sales reps get into an awesome property that I already know is cash flowing well. I can break even so I'm not losing money, and I can free up cash when I've got more deals than I know what to do with. And so I said, what the heck? Let's do it. I decided after only owning the property for a month or two that I was going to sell it to Ryan. Now, what we ran into is for him to do an FHA loan, I had to have owned the property for 90 days. So we had to wait for the 90-day mark, and then we went through with it. Now, by that point, my other deals had kind of started to fall through. Everything had fallen into place, and I was in a situation where if I could have, I might have held on to the fourplex, but my word is my bond, and that means a lot to me, and I like to keep my commitments, especially with one of my mentees, one of these guys that has worked his butt off for me, has done incredibly well, made awesome money doing door-to-door sales, and if you're interested in that job, you can apply below. It's just www.elitesummersales.com. And yes, we are full bore doing door-to-door sales during this summer. We're starting a little later with the quarantine, but we are going out and our guys make incredible money. Now, I sidetracked a little bit, but with Ryan, he had killed it. He had great money. He'd come to me for advice. He was doing all of the right things, and I thought, what better way to get more cash free for these deals than helping out a super solid deal. So here's a picture of the one and only Ryan Myers closing on that fourplex that I loved. It broke my heart to see it go, but I couldn't have given it off to anyone better. And I know a lot of you are saying, well, Chandler, now you're below 100 doors of rental real estate. You just passed up on this awesome property that you owned. It was yours. Why would you do that? And the reality is there's always going to be another deal. There's always going to be a better deal. And for me to be able to help out Ryan was awesome. Ryan's someone that's going to work with me for years and kill it in door-to-door sales. And that is where all of our money comes so that we can all invest in real estate. So again, if you want to know more about that, we're still taking applications for this summer. And I know a lot of people are in a situation where they're hurting for money. There is no better job on earth to help you to create income to be able to get into investing in real estate. So again, if you want to apply, it's www.elitesummersales.com. And I know this video was all over the place, but now you know the full story of me buying and selling the fourplex in the course of 3 months, of the 22plex falling through, of the 9plex falling through twice and losing my earnest money, of locking up the 32plex, and I am ready to go and find more deals as this coronavirus does whatever it's going to do to us, because the best place to invest is in real estate. Now, if you enjoyed the video, please push the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the future videos. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.